and the roof has been badly damaged. For the third and fourth reactors, hydrogen explosions took place, therefore the damage to the buildings. And as for why the explosions occurred, I would like to explain it using this diagram. Until now, in the number 1, number 2, and number 3 reactors, this is the reactor, and there were problems in the fuel in the reactor. But for the third and fourth reactors, we are talking about the spent nuclear fuel pool. The problems are occurring in the pond where the spent nuclear fuel is being stored. This pool or pond is filled with water when storing the spent fuel, but due to the tsunami and the earthquake, the water levels in this pool can no longer be remained. So the spent fuel is becoming exposed and sticking out of the water, and its own heat is making the fuel melt. And that is creating hydrogen to gather at the top of the building. And then as a result of that, an explosion took place. That is what happened at the third and fourth. That's what's happening in the third and fourth plants. And as we said earlier, what we want to do is to get as much water as possible into the spent nuclear fuel pools. And two methods are being considered right now. One is to use SDF helicopters to spray water into the pool through the roof in which there is a hole to increase the water levels again. And that was attempted yesterday once, but because of the high radiation levels overhead the reactor, the operation was suspended and canceled midway. And today, the second method is about to be tried. This is a very special water cannon truck of the Metropolitan Police, and they are going to spray water towards the spent nuclear fuel pool. And there is a hole in the side wall, so the water can pass through the wall into the pool. As of 7 a.m., the spraying has not started, and it is said that they want to start this morning if possible. And in any case, the fuel rods are exposed right now, so they may melt. And if they melt, radioactive material is easily released. Therefore, the priority is on recovering the water levels in the spent nuclear fuel pools. That is why this operation needs to succeed. And by filling the pool with water, they can prevent radioactive material from leaking. But spraying water from this cannon truck directly at the pool, is that going to be effective? Of course, this sort of operation has never been tried before. It's the first attempt. And amid all these problems emerging, this is a last-ditch effort. But it is mandatory that water is placed into the tank or the pool, or the next measures cannot be taken. And radiation levels in the area are very high. And the workers are working very hard in order to make this a success. We hope it works.
Yes, indeed, that many of the values of radioactivity was measured yesterday. Let's check that the data. Yes, in Kita Ibaragi, 15.8 microsievert, and Yokosuka, 0.131. From the reactor 1 to 4 of the Daiichi nuclear power plant, all are troubled. Either the explosion or the leak, the radiation has been leaking already. And because of this, that even the distance is far from the plant, that the trace of the micro radiation is detected. A relatively high value was reported from the Kita Ibaragi, 15.8 microsievert, and Yokosuka, 0.131 microsievert per hour was detected yesterday. According to the experts, they say that it is really trace, for example. For the comparison of the radiation exposure of the X-ray inspection of the stomach, this is 1/30 or 1/40 of the value of the X-ray inspection of the stomach. is a value equivalent to the 15.8 microsievert, which was detected yesterday in northern Ibaragi, so that it doesn't have the impact immediately to the health. However, that we have to encourage everybody that who is ordered to evacuate, and those areas that you are requested to evacuate inside of the buildings, well, please wear that raincoat, and also try not to expose your skin if you have to go out of the house. And if you return home, that please try to shake off that whatever that attached on your skin or that outside of the clothes. Shake them off. So these kind of the precautions are recommended. Thank you very much.
Meanwhile, the financial markets are showing some uncertainty. Here we switch over to Ross Mihara at our business desk. So what's the latest, Ross?
That's right, Yuko. The disaster in Japan is also hitting the markets, where overnight the yen skyrocketed to an all-time high against the dollar in New York, where it even touched the lower 76 yen mark. The rapid surge eclipsed the previous record set nearly 16 years ago. Investors took their cue from a sell-off of U.S. stocks on Wall Street and mounting concerns over accidents at a nuclear power station in Quake-hit northeastern Japan. They also anticipated accelerated yen buying by Japanese firms bidding to repatriate their overseas assets to boost reconstruction efforts back home. On the New York Foreign Exchange, the yen reached 76.25 yen per dollar at one point, smashing the previous high set in April 1995 by more than 3 yen. Market sources say that according to U.S. and European investors, the yen will remain under intense buying for some time.
People are feeling nervous about the markets, and it's a typical risk-off day where the high interest rate currencies go down and the low interest rate currencies like the yen and the Swiss franc go up. As the news comes in, I think investors are trying to make up their mind as to how bad this is going to be, and it's really very uncertain right now. And I don't think we're getting enough information to make really good decisions.
Now let's see if the run on the yen is